When I started trading 5 years ago, I had a proven strategy, but I couldn't consistently make profits out of the live markets. I knew the strategy worked, but my psychology kept me unprofitable. But here's the thing, if you can't even watch a full video until the end, then your psychology isn't ready either. Don't prove it to me, but do yourself a favor. Okay, so before we're going to talk about everything that I've prepared for you beforehand, we have to talk about a little bit about myself. Now, I've been trading for more than 5 years. We're not going to read this entire text. I have more than 500k in total funding with multiple different prop firms. Now, this is just a very small fraction of all of the different payouts that I have gotten over the years. And this all-time reward has got me being interviewed by Funding Pips. The link to that interview is in the description down below. But before I started my own mentorship, I was sitting in this kind of place. Now, as you can see, this is a very rough time in my life. I had a different Discord at that time. I didn't even have a chair, and my upcomings are pretty humble for that matter. Now, that's why I've created my own mentorship, but enough about myself. We're going to talk about the actual topic of the video. Now, it is going to be psychology, as you already have seen from the intro. And it is basically patience. Everything that you're struggling is about patience. Now, if we scroll a little bit further, you can see I've already prepared this little bit of a chart for you. Now, this line is not just some random graph or anything like that, and I don't want to be flashy, but the straight line, right, that does not have space in between the lines, is representing the typical trader who is basically stuck. And a lot of the times, this is where most traders are. I would say 99% of traders are stuck in this kind of range, where at the very start, they made a little bit of profit just because they started out and they'd be like, okay, I can make easy money. Now, the funny thing about this is that usually you are able to make a lot of money in the markets when you just start out. And this is actually what happened, right? But then eventually you start understanding that this is not so easy as you would have thought. And this goes on and on until eventually you even go into a drawdown, or you're at this break-even stage where you kind of know what you're doing, but at the same time, you're just confused about all of the different gurus and terms. Now, let's go over the trader's mind that's representing the not so good chart that we can see. Now, first of all, he's impatient. He's trying to get rich quick, focuses on results, and thinks that Mamba FX is legit. Now, I've presented to you the garbage of the industry. Basically, we have a bunch of frauds, and this is just a fraction of all of the different gurus that we have in our industry. Now, ICT is a very big one here, and we have a bunch of different ones, maybe even smaller ones, but I guarantee you that all of them are not profitable, especially her because she's a woman. Now, if we zoom out again, you can see the graph about the profitable trader, which we'll also go into his mind as well, as much different. Now, although he did not start with a profit, hell man, he might even started with going into drawdown right from the start. The difference about him is that he focuses on exponential growth. He doesn't care that at the start he won't make any money. He only concentrates on what is important. Now, if we zoom into his mind, he focuses on small gains over time, knows the value of compounding and quality over quantity. Now, the power about compounding is extremely underestimated. As you can see, this is basically also representing compounding. You start off very small, but the growth over time is exponential. You can see that the graph, after a certain period of time, it just takes off completely into the air, right? Especially when you compare it to this part. This trader might initially made a little bit of profit, maybe even progress at the start, but he didn't focus on the actual real important stuff, which is why he's still stuck in this kind of range. But the trader who took all of this kind of advice that I'm giving you is actually way higher up, right? He doesn't even care about the other guy being all the way below because he focuses on much different stuff. Now, how can you become this kind of trader? Basically, we have two paths right in here. We have overestimating what they can do in 3 months, and we have underestimating what they can achieve in 3 years. Now, first of all, we will go over the guy that thinks, well, I'm going to be profitable within 3 months and might even become a millionaire. So the first thought is always, I'll be the one getting profitable in X amount of time. Now, I've been there myself. I also thought that I'm going to be the anomaly, right? I'm going to be the trader who is going to break through everybody else, and I'll be profitable within X amount of days, months, weeks, you name it, right? But the reality is that trading is not that easy. So the next thing that they do is they buy a funded account, and this is a horrible idea, right? Because they are already very delusional by thinking that they'll be the one that becomes a profitable trader within X amount of time. So they haven't even really made experience, they are just delusional. Now, next thing that happens is, oh wait, trading is harder than I actually thought. Now this is where reality is kicking in, right? They understand that, okay, I've actually made the mistake in underestimating what trading is actually all about. If we go a little bit further, then this guy starts watching gurus. Now we have already talked about gurus, but let me just quickly present to you an example. As you can see, when even I just started trading, I looked at things like this, right? Steal this insane simple 90% win rate trading strategy, 1 to 20 RR, TJ Capital, whatever his name is, right? And the problem here is that if this would have been true, you would be the richest man on earth. Literally, after a couple of days of trading, you will be the richest man that has ever lived on this planet. So you're already delusional enough for thinking that you're the anomaly in trading. But then you're also listening to shit like this, and it just completely corrupts your brain. Now, if you skip a little bit further, so now he has the wrong picture of trading. Now he thinks that, well, I could become a millionaire within a couple of months. But if we go back, that is going to happen once again. He buys a funded account because he has just seen that kind of ass video, right? So if we skip a little bit forward, what is going to happen? There's only two options. Now, option number one is he's going to quit trading. So many people, after realizing that trading is not as easy, they just quit trading all along and think that this is all just a scam. This is a gamble. Why haven't I gotten into this? And they basically just lose a lot of money. And this is unnecessary. Now the next thing is option number two. Keeps losing until he understands what actually works. Now, what does actually work? This is kind of the breaking point for every trader that has basically tried everything. They have tried support and resistance. They have tried SMC, ICT, the unicorn model, whatever it is, the forever model. I've heard so many different names for all of these kinds of models, and they are just basically marketing, guys. Keep that in mind. This is nothing special or the holy grail about the market. This is something very easy and simple to learn, but you keep on falling for it. So don't fall for the marketing, guys. Now, this was the path when you're overestimating what you can do in 3 months. But when you're underestimating what you can achieve in 3 years, that is what's going to happen. Now, first of all, the guy who accepts that this might take years is the guy that is going to be profitable. And I guarantee you that, because he understands that over time he will be profitable if he just sticks to the right things. Now, the next thing is he trades on demo or a trial funded. Many prop firms, FTMO, Fivers, they offer a free trial. Why? And compared to the other guy, right? Why do you instantly get a funded account? Lose your money unnecessarily if you can just get on a trial. Try that first. Now, if you have passed 1, 2, maybe 3 trial funded accounts, then you can move on onto actually buying an account, right? And that only works if your strategy is already profitable. But this is just about psychology. I want to give you a different mindset. Now, and here's the big difference. So, oh wait, trading's harder than I thought, right? This is the guy that is basically doing everything wrong. But the difference is here, he blows the account. Now you might say, well, where is the difference here, right? He kind of failed, but this guy also failed. Now the difference is that he takes a different approach, a different mindset. He accepts the loss and moves on, right? This is where he becomes basically the 1% of traders. He understands what he has to do. He looks at the data and adjusts to it. He understands that this is normal. You can't just make it happen within a couple of weeks of trading, right? Just by doing that, he takes that kind of information and goes fully monk mode, because now he knows what has to be done in order to succeed. Now, he cuts off all of the party time. He understands, man, I have to lock in. I have to completely lock into this. I don't give a fuck about anything, okay? And he improves himself as a human being. Now, trading tests your entire character and your life, okay? This is not only about candlesticks on a chart, right? This is not only about the chart going up or down. This is about much more. You have to grind yourself as a human being. Go to the gym, study, whatever it takes, right? But how can you actually improve trading wise? Because that is, at the end of the day, what we're going to talk about in here. Now there's two things. You have to backtest and you also have to journal. Now how do you journal your trades? Me personally, I like to use TradeLens. Now as you can see, this is one of my journals. I'm pretty much up all of the time. I do have losing days, don't get me wrong, but my win rate is so high that it literally doesn't matter. Besides that, the graph looks very clean. This is how your graph should look like, right? You should not have spikes like this where it goes up but then also goes down, then to a drawdown. This is not professional, guys. We want to keep it professional. And if you do care, I'm also the first one in the entire journal. Now, the next thing is, if you want to have a 10% discount on this entire journal that I'm using myself, the link to this journal is down below. It's a great journal and I use it myself. So this was not just a promotional side of the video. Now he has backtested and journaled. What is that giving me? When you backtest, you actually get more confident psychology wise. Because when you backtest, you actually understand that my strategy works, right? I have an edge into the market, so why should I compensate on moving my stop loss, moving my entry, taking bad trade setups? The backtesting is basically telling you you're only profitable. Your strategy only works if you're sticking to your rules. Now, then you have to journal it, right? Because when you journal it, you actually get the entire information. That is basically a documentation of all of the trades you have taken. That is the next thing. Now, after you're already profitable, you go back into your journal and actually watch the trades that you have taken in order to improve your strategy. Because what works today might not work tomorrow. People don't understand this, but the market always changes. It doesn't change from now until tomorrow. But in 1 year, 2 or 3, you'll be out. So you have to constantly improve. And only by journaling you can do this. Now you don't have to use TradeLens even though it is free, but I personally like to go for it because it does everything automated for me. And after the trader has done everything that I've just shown you, he starts seeing progress. Now this is kind of a trap because a lot of traders, once they see progress, they start to spending that kind of money that I have got from a payout on, I don't know, maybe a small little vacation or anything like that, but that's totally wrong. And the reason for that is this picture. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this again is because I was already profitable at that time, but I still did not invest even into a chair or a table because I took all that kind of payout money and bought a new challenge with it. That's the reason why I'm so successful. My point is, don't fall into the trap or just seeing progress and automatically spending your payouts on some dumb things. The only thing you're allowed to buy with your payout is buying a new challenge. That's it. Now the next thing is, he doesn't change what works and continues dominating the charts over the long term. Now, but the problem is, personally, it took me years. And for most of you, it will also take years. We have already talked about it, right? That's why I've opened up my own mentorship where I will give everything for you that you need to know in order to become profitable. I will go over everything step by step. And even if you're not funded within a short period of time, I will make sure to get on a one-on-one call, basically one-on-one mentoring in order for you to get profitable and get a funded account. And if you have made it this far into the video, congrats. Because in the intro, I was talking about that if you're not even able to watch a video until the end, then your psychology is definitely lacking. Now make sure to leave a like if you have gotten value out of this video. Also share it with a friend that is also struggling with psychology. We have all been there, guys. I've had this argument for a very long time. I'm profitable, but my psychology is lacking. And the next thing I would like you to do is subscribe to the channel and also turn on the notification bell. Now see you guys in the next video and make sure to join my free Discord server. The link is in the description down below.